Hello everyone, welcome back to Total Football Talk. Thanks for joining me. We're going to look at all the latest transfer news and news surrounding Manchester United. That's absolutely flying around at the minute. Plenty for us to get stuck into this morning, like a two-footed tackle, which I'd like to see go in on maybe some of our bomb squad. But yeah, let's have a look at what is being said. We are looking at Manchester United and the midfield area in particular. There's stories about Rabiot coming out. There's stories about Lucien Agoume that have been talked about. There's also stories on Garnacho, a little bit on Marcus Rashford, and a little bit on the academy side of things as well, and who could be potentially taken over from Nick Cox. But this was a story that was being talked about kind of yesterday. I didn't get a chance to react to it, but apparently reports were breaking from Indy Kyla, who's had a very, very good summer this year and had a lot of excellent information. You should check out them on X. And they are saying that Manchester United are looking to put in a bid between 22 to 26 million pound for Agoume. Now, I'd love to know if you guys out there have any thoughts on Agoume. I have seen little bits of him. I've checked him out on YouTube. So that means zero. I actually don't know that much about him. I don't know whether he's a good fit for us or not. In the few bits that I did watch, he looked quite an interesting player. It looks like someone who can break up the defense. He's almost like a Belieber, but like, you know, a slight downgrade. Obviously, Belieber was, you know, top end of the market. This kid is slightly more in the middle run of the market, but has promise. 22 to 26 million pound could be an interesting price tag. He has a release clause of 35 million, but Manchester United don't want to pay it. I don't know. I think we have to rebuild the midfield from start to finish. Bruno could potentially leave next year. Casemiro could, you know, potentially be leaving as well because he'll be into the final year of his contract. We're uncertain about the Manu side of things. There's a lot of talk about Manu. There's a contract on the table. It hasn't been signed yet, and we don't know why that is the case. Is it because Manchester United are potentially looking to take offers on him? Is it because they're just waiting for the right time for him to sign it so they can have a PR piece come out whenever we maybe need an uplift in the fan base, maybe after a defeat? Maybe they're going to do it after the transfer window closes. I'm not entirely sure why the contract hasn't been signed. Ruben Amorim has said that he does have plans, big plans for Kobe Manu in his own words. But if you had Kobe Manu playing alongside this Agoume fella from Saville, is that something that Manchester United should be looking at? What does that mean for Ugarte? Where does he fit into the whole situation? Obviously came on at the weekend and didn't have a very good game. I think there still is a player in Ugarte, but is he going to make it? The jury's out at the minute. I think he is a good player, and he probably needs a run of games, but is he going to get it? I'm not entirely sure. And then obviously the Bruno and Casemiro effect, and Toby Collar has gone out on loan to Hull. So that's where we are with the Agoume one. So this will be one to watch. We'll have to see whether whether this translates into any meaningful talks. The clock is ticking. There's only 12 days left of the window, so you know we haven't got much time to mess around on this. If we actually are going to go and try and do a deal like this, we do need a midfielder and we do need a goalkeeper, and those have been stated by Ruben Amorim to the board that he must have these two players brought in. Are they going to be the top end, top quality players that he wants? At this stage, I don't think so. I don't think we've got the time to do massive deals like Warden or whoever. There was another player we were linked with, Humlin from Sporting. I don't think we're going to get time to do those deals. I think it'll be a case of maybe it'll be some of these unhidden gems, and whether they can step up and, you know, actually make their mark in the Premier League, it's going to be difficult for them. So yeah, that's where we are with that. Now, there was another story breaking yesterday, and this one I didn't really understand. So it said Adrien Rabiot will be offered to Manchester United and many other clubs and opportunities for 15 to 20 million euro. Now, we obviously have had a long-standing sort of link to Rabiot. We know a few seasons ago that Ten Hag was interested. We know that Murdo went out and spoke to his mum, and we know how that all went. So whether this is a deal that we had even contemplated at this particular stage, I don't know. I thought we might have looked at the João Paulinho deal for Bayern Munich, but obviously we've decided to negate on that one. Whether we will move for Adrien Rabiot, good question. good question. What do you guys think? Do you think that Rabiot would be a good player for Manchester United to come in at that kind of money? We know there's a falling out in the Marseille camps, and they want him out of the club. 15 million for Rabiot for a couple of seasons as we help rebuild our midfield, or is it Agoume the better option at this particular stage because he's younger and he will help us lead us into the future? I think Rabiot, for me, the ship has passed on this one. I don't think the Rabiot deal is one that is actually going to happen anytime soon. I think Marseille are looking rid of him. They know that Manchester United had links, and I think that is as far as this particular talk of a transfer goes at the minute. Now, there was another story, and this came from the Sun, which is obviously one that I find very hard to believe, that Manchester United are continuing to pursue huge summer transfer business at Old Trafford. And then there was talk of Manchester United reportedly considering Real Madrid star Camavinga as an alternative to Carlos Baleba. But I don't even think that there is anything in this. I don't think that Camavinga will be leaving. And if Real Madrid do sell Camavinga, there must be something behind it, because Real Madrid are a team that get rid of players at the right time. They give us Varane because they knew he was injury prone. I remember back in the day they let obviously Mesut Ozil has left, and he was kind of a success for Arsenal. There is another player who left Madrid. Oh, well, obviously Casemiro came to us, and we knew he was on the last, on his last legs, essentially. So they got a really good deal out of that, and we blew a budget, which is really hindering us at the minute. So I don't really know if I want any more cast-offs from Real Madrid at this particular stage. Camavinga is an excellent player, but maybe he's had a few injuries recently, so maybe they see him as slightly injury prone, and they're looking to get him off their books because he's still a very young midfielder, very talented midfielder, and he's got a lot still to give. Athletic, gets around the pitch, moves the ball really well, scores some important goals, and would be brilliant for us. But I just think this is the Sun, and I think we just take this with a pinch of salt as always. So I don't think there's anything in that one. Then there is this story, which is Garnacho will only be allowed to leave if the price is met for their expectations of 50 million. The club believe all evidence points to this evaluation being entirely fair and accurate. Now, this is coming off the back of the fact that Chelsea now only want to pay 25 million for Garnacho, and that's because they know he's in a position where he thinks he's got the power and the control. I actually am not entirely sure. I would like to think that Manchester United can control the situation much better, and that they will definitely get more than 25 million. There was news coming out last night that Fabrizio Romano was saying that Garnacho was going to be a player that was going to be sold very, very soon, and a deal was being close to being done. Now, will that happen? I don't know. It's potentially, looks like he wants Chelsea. Chelsea want him. Can we make a deal happen? 40 million might have to be the case, but yeah, that will be probably as good as it gets if we actually get a chance to sell him. So Garnacho to go, we need him off the books. We need Sancho gone. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He's turned down, all kinds of deals. And Garnacho has also turned down Bayern Munich, which I think is absolutely ludicrous. Massive team, Champions League, chance of winning the Champions League, and he wants hell-bent on going to Chelsea just because he wants a return to Old Trafford and give us the two fingers and show us what a player he is. And I hope for his sake that if he does come back, there is a good, strong tackle on him and a bit of a reducer, as they say, and just to let him know that he had a great opportunity at Manchester United, but yet he decided to blow it. Okay, so the next one up is Sammy Lammens. And although outgoings are a priority, Manchester United officials remain keen on bringing in Sammy Lammens this summer. Ruben Amorim is a big admirer after providing the green light in July. The player wants the move too. So Sammy Lammens is one that's been talked about the entire summer. He is a deal that we can do, but he's not a number one. He's a number two. He is a number two and nothing more than that at the minute. He won't really push Onana out, and it also means we'd have to sell Bayinda, and I know Tom Heaton signed a new deal, so I don't think he's going anywhere. I think that's pretty much about the height of it. Would this happen? He's more than likely going to join than Diego Costa that we talked about yesterday. That's pretty much it on that one. And the last couple of little bits are, these are just interesting bits of info. Some in the Barcelona dressing room are already comparing Marcus Rashford to João Felix, saying that he lacks the mentality to match his talent. And that's come from El Nacional, a Nacional. Pardon me, I can't pronounce that one. But yes, so that's coming from a report out of Spain. And this is what we have already known as Manchester United fans. Unfortunately, Rashford has to have the dedication, the desire, the drive to match his talent. And at the minute, that maybe seems to be waning. Now, for me, this is a bit of a sad story, because sad in the respect that I would love to see Marcus Rashford do well so we can get a fee for him. Because if not, if he doesn't go well for him at Barcelona and he comes back to us and we can't sell him, and then we're looking at a Garnacho situation all over again, where we're being talked about 25 million for a player who was worth a double, treble, quadruple that 2 seasons ago, and in 3 seasons on, he's absolutely worth very, very little, because he's let his career disintegrate into, the burning embers of nothingness, which I hope isn't the case. I hope he finds a way to turn it around and help, bring us in some money. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting story coming out of Spain on Marcus Rashford. And then finally, Brentford Academy Director Stephen Torpey is set to replace Nick Cox as head of Manchester United's academy. Torpey is highly rated following his work at Manchester City, where he developed the likes of Cole Palmer, James McAtee, and Rico Lewis. Sorry, I read that one out, but that's the caption there. He obviously's got a great track record. Rico Lewis is doing very well again this season. Well, we're only one game in. Cole Palmer, we know what he's done. McAtee looks a very, very good player too. He has brought through some excellent players, and those players have been sold for a lot of money, or in two of them, one of them's been sold for a lot of money, one's potentially going to be sold, and Rico Lewis would probably go for a lot of money if he was to actually leave Manchester City. I think that this is a good recruitment from us. Again, this is a long-term vision that any of us have, and we need to make sure that this long-term vision is what carries on to be. We need to get rid of the players on the high wages. We need to be able to start controlling the club and the players as the club see fit, and bringing in players who've got the right mentality and the right attitude to help move this club forward, because we're still so far behind everyone else at the minute, and we desperately need to catch up quickly. And we're doing a lot of things in the background, but we are still making mistakes. And the bomb squad, so-called bomb squad, whatever you want to call them, they're still here. We've been unable to move them, which is crazy at this stage. There's said 12 days left of the transfer window. We need to pull our fingers out, and we need to find places for these young lads to move on to, and hopefully have their careers be reinvigorated, and hopefully that will also reinvigorate our transfer budget, which is vastly, living on tenterhooks, because we're on the rolling credit facility at the minute. It's what's being talked about if we're going to buy players, if we can't sell anyone. So guys, that's your news. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the content and you stuck around to the end, thank you very much. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like. That would be absolutely magic. Really, really appreciate that. And yeah, have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.